And now you are where you are. That'll make sense in a minute. Yesterday, I was talking to a business partner and mentor, and we were talking about how to move things along more quickly, procrastination, how to avoid it, and most effective ways to get in contact with and have a discussion with a potential seller. And one of the things that we talked about was with interest rates rising, multiples for businesses are going down. There are staffing problems which have impacted profitability. There's also certainly banks which have had issues and are getting more conservative, probably in debt coverage ratios. You're going to see you need to be about a 2 where it used to be 1.5, sometimes lower than that. So when you're talking to a prospect, oftentimes people get into long conversations. And so how do you effectively go through those prospects and get to whether or not they're a prospect or a suspect and how to tell the difference? You remember, you are looking for motivated sellers. So one of the things to ask is just, have you ever thought about selling your business? And then shut up. Usually the next person that talks loses in that scenario. It was pretty good advice from the person I was talking to. And then, depending upon how you want to go forward and what that answer is, you can just end the call or you can ask a couple of questions. You could say, call me when you realize that I'm your only answer. You could, after some maybe response back from them, I'm your succession plan that you didn't plan for. And then oftentimes remind them of where they are. Almost all sellers realize that their financial situation was better pre-corona, COVID-19, than post. So they already know that they should have sold before corona. They already know that in the last 12 months, interest rates have gone up significantly, essentially doubled. And they also know that they've got staffing problems, oftentimes, in profitability. So failure to take action on their part has put them, as I started this podcast, and now you are where you are. And so that thought, whether or not it happens on that call or not, that thought will nag at them. They will realize, you know what? Yeah, I should have said before COVID-19, but I didn't. And yes, interest rates have gone up, and that's driven down the multiples, and my business isn't worth as much as it was prior to COVID because of the profitability, because of the staffing issues. Oftentimes, there is no shortage of work. There's a shortage of staff to provide the labor for that work. And so, yeah, with interest rates, with all these things now that have resulted in, pretty close to a perfect storm, they are where they are. And that will zip around inside their head when they wake up in the morning and say, you know what, maybe this isn't where I am now in terms of wanting to sell this business, but it is what it is. And particularly if you are proposing a 60-40 deal where you get 60%, et cetera, et cetera, it may be that they say, you know what, selling 60% of this and growing with these people that seem to know how to do this is a better outcome than where I am now. So I would highly encourage you to think about that and to make those conversations as quick as you can. If you end up talking to somebody, you realize that it's not going to go anywhere, their expectations are too far, it's not profitable, it doesn't meet your criteria, these discussions can be 1 to 3 minutes, something like that. But leave them with that thought. You are where you are. Remind them of the pre-COVID versus post-COVID valuation, staffing situations, interest rates. And as they begin to think about that, some percentage of those people are going to call you back. And they're going to have a more realistic expectation of what the business is worth, and that's the beginning of a negotiation. But remember, banks still need to end up placing their product, which is capital in their case. And if you're looking for businesses that are owned by older people where they've got a pretty clean balance sheet, seller finance should be the first pitch that you throw. Hopefully that is helpful to you and helpful in moving you forward. Remember that all of this is a function of action. You have to kiss a lot of frogs. It's a percentage game, it's a numbers game, however you want to look at that. If you have not signed up to get the free course on conversation starters, go over to my website, brucewhipple.com, grab the free course. If you want to go there directly, just go to brucewhipple.com/free course, and you'll get those scripts on how to start conversations with a number of people, board members, financial institutions, et cetera, et cetera. But I truly believe this is our time with private equity not doing as much as they were. You're going to have opportunities in that space. And banks with interest rates aren't making as many loans, and you're going to have opportunity if you give them a strong deal to have an opportunity there as well. Okay, helpful, I hope, but put this into action.